So Algebra 1, 8.3, we are still working on our properties of exponents. So we had all of our multiplication ones and then 0 and a negative exponent. In 8.3, we have the division properties for exponents. They are very similar to the multiplication properties, okay? So, you know, when you multiply powers with like bases, you add their exponents. In division, you're subtracting them. So to look, I have 3 to the 4th over 3 squared. Okay, if I were to multiply this out, 3 to the 4th would be 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. And then 3 squared would be 3 times 3. And then properties of division allowed us to say, well, I can cancel out these common factors. And I end up with 3 times 3, which is 3 squared. Okay? Which ends up being the same as 3 to the 4 minus 2. So they have the same base, so we subtracted their exponents. Okay, so these are 2 more properties. It is the quotient of a power and the power of a quotient. And quotient means division, okay? So if you have a and b be real numbers and m and n are integers, then a to the m over a to the n, they have the same base, it's division. We are going to subtract their powers, as long as a is not 0. Okay, so to divide, powers with the same base, you want to subtract the exponents. Okay, so 4 to the 9th divided by 4 to the 4th. The same base, it's division. We're going to take that base and we get our power by subtracting the exponents. So we get 4 to the 5th power. Okay? And then power of a quotient is like power of a product, right? It means that if you have a quotient and you're raising it to a power, we're going to do the same thing that we did with multiplication, and we're going to put that power on the numerator and the denominator. Okay, so a quotient, so you have a divided by b, and then you're raising that to a power. You're going to find the power of the numerator and divide by the power of the denominator, as long as that denominator is not 0. Okay, so I have 5 over 7, okay, that's a quotient, and I am raising it to the power of 4. I'm going to find 5 to the 4th power, because that's my numerator, and 7 to the 4th power, because that's my denominator. Okay? And these are all, you now have all the properties of powers, and you're going to put them all together to simplify. I'm going to write down a bunch, and we're going to work through them. Okay, and then we'll do 2 longer ones. All right, so 4 to the 5th over 4 to the 4th, okay? It's the same base, so we're going to keep that base and then just subtract our exponents. So 5 minus 4 is 4 to the 1st, and 4 to the 1st is 4. Here again, we have the same base, so we take our base, which is -3, and then raise it to the 4 minus 4 power. Well, 4 minus 4 is 0, and any number to the 0 power is 1. Okay, here it is all like bases. We have multiple steps we're going to do. We're going to simplify the numerator first, so that would be 6 to the 3 plus 5 because it's multiplication, and that would be 6 to the 8th over 6 to the 9th. Now it's the same base, so we're going to subtract 8 minus 9, 6 to the -1st. We are not going to leave that negative exponent, and we're going to write that as 1 over 6 to the +1st. Okay, 2 over x to the 4th times x squared, right? This x squared is really over 1. So it's like multiplying fractions. So we're going to multiply the numerator and multiply the denominator. Then we have an x squared and an x to the 4th. So same base, we're going to subtract our exponents. We get 2 times x to the -2nd. We can't leave those negative exponents, so 2 stays in the numerator because it does not have a negative exponent on it. X has the negative exponent, so it comes to the denominator and becomes positive. We get 2 over x squared. 1 over 4, whole thing raised to the 3rd. Numerator gets raised to the 3rd, denominator to the 3rd. Then 1 to the 3rd is 1. 4 to the 3rd is 64. So we get 1 over 64. This one is negative out in front, 4 over x squared. So that negative stays out in front. The 4 gets squared, the x gets squared. Again, the negative is outside the parentheses, so it stays there. 4 squared is 16, x squared is x squared. So we get negative 16 over x squared. Okay, negative exponents, right? So here it would be 3 to the -4th over 2 to the -4th, because that's what we do with a quotient and a power. Okay, the negative exponent means the 3 is going to come to the denominator and become positive, because it's raised to a negative. The 2 is also raised to a negative, so it comes to the numerator and becomes positive. 2 to the 4th is 16, 3 to the 4th is 81, so we get 16 over 81. Okay. All right. 2 more. 3x squared y over 4x, and then 3x squared over y, all raised to the 3rd. Okay, these are multi-step. Okay, so first, when you're trying to simplify, you can put like terms together. So we get 3 over 4, that's our fraction. Okay, you can't really simplify that. Okay, then we have x squared over x. So we're going to do x to the 2 minus 1, because that's an imaginary one there. And then y. And then let's simplify that a little bit more. So we get 3x, 2 minus 1 is x to the 1st, y over 4. Okay? All right. Here, inside the parentheses, we can't simplify because there's a 3, an x, and a y. So they're simplified. So inside, then, we can take the numerator and raise it to a power. The whole numerator is 3x squared. So then 3x squared cubed over y cubed. Then, this is a product raised to a power. So we're going to do 3 cubed times x squared cubed over y cubed. 3 cubed is 27. Okay. And then x squared cubed, you multiply those, so you get x to the 6th over y cubed. Okay. Then I kind of left out part of 1. So I'm going to kind of come back up here. So it's 3x cubed y over 4x times 12x squared y squared over y cubed. Okay, so what I would do on this one is I would do the multiplication, right? I would put it all as one fraction. So multiplication, you can multiply in any order. So we're going to multiply the numerator. So we're going to do 3 times 12. And then x cubed times x squared. So we add the exponents. And y times y squared over 4xy cubed. Okay. Then I'm going to simplify the number parts, right? So 3 times 12 divided by 4. Well, I'm going to divide 4 out. So I get 3 times 3 is 9. Then I get x to the 5th divided by x. So subtract 1. Y to the 3rd minus 3. Because that's the numerator. The x to the 5th is how this simplifies. And y cubed is how this simplifies. Then you're dividing by x, so you subtract 1. And you're dividing by y cubed, so you subtract 3. So you get 9x to the 4th. This would be y to the 0, which is 1. So we get 9x to the 4th. Okay? So that is 8.3. Just applying all of those properties of exponents.